Are you sick of constantly losing in Dragon Ball Legends PvP? Watch this video to fix it, because today I'm going to be showing you how to crush your opponents in Dragon Ball Legends PvP with some simple tips for beginners and advanced players. Especially the last tip is for advanced players, but the rest are for beginner and intermediate level players. So without talking too much, I know this intro got you saying, oh my god, I'm finally going to beat everyone and grind to the top ranks and top 1k. So yeah, let's start with the first tip right here. So the first tip that we have here is using side step and charge steps to extend your combos. And if you're new to the game, you might be wondering, what does this mean? Side steps and charge steps are ways to extend your combos and draw cards while you're doing damage. So to perform a side step, after using a strike or a blast card, swipe up so you can get closer to the opponent, and then swipe to any of the sides, right or left. That's how you perform a side step, and then use your next card, and you would notice that your combo is still going, but you have a chance to draw a card, especially if your character has card draw speed. So this is a really good way to extend combos and do more damage rather than just spamming your cards. And side steps are usually better to perform after a strike card. So you might be wondering, what to do if I use a blast card? If you use a blast card, here when charge steps comes, in my opinion, they are the best after a blast card. And to perform a charge step, after using a blast card, swipe up to so you can get closer to the opponent, and then charge for around a second, and then use your next card, and you again would notice that your combo is still going and you have a chance. And with the charge step, you're gaining ki, and you have a chance of getting a card, and it's actually a higher chance than side steps. And don't get me wrong, using side steps with blast cards or charge steps with strike cards can be done, but I think the better option is using side steps and performing side steps after strike cards. And keep in mind, while side stepping, you only can chain strike and blast cards, but with charge stepping you can use green cards, blue cards, if you time it correctly. So with green cards, if you want to use a charging green card, you have to charge for a bit less time so you can have time using the green card and then to get your next card. And with side steps, you can only, as I said, use strike and blast cards after them. But with charge steps, you can use blue cards, green cards, and blast cards or strike cards, so any type of cards, even ultimate arts. So I think, in my opinion, charge steps are better. If you're using a charge step after a strike card, the timing has to be really specific. You have to charge for a really small amount of time that I think it's not worth it. You might just miss the timing and the opponent can have an opportunity to vanish your combo. So I think the safer option is using side steps after strike cards and charge steps after blast cards. So this is the first tip. Let's move to our second tip right here. Our second tip right here is going to be ki cancelling. Ki cancelling is a way to regain your battle position after using a blast card. So basically, after using a blast card in long range, close range, or in any range, mid range, close range, or long range, after using that blast card, swipe up so your character can regain his battle position and you can perform a vanish or perform an attack or do anything. So with that, you'd have more options to do, so you can initiate an attack straight away or vanish your opponent's attack, rather than if you don't ki cancel, you have only one option, which is vanishing your opponent's attack, and they can get you on the side step and start a combo against you. So ki canceling, I think you should use it in every single game after every blast card you do. So that's our second tip. It's a quick tip, but you have to use it every single time. So let's move to our third tip. So our third tip right here is going to be quick side steps, and quick side steps are reliant on the last tip that I give you, which is ki cancels. Ki cancels is a way to regain your battle position by swiping up after a blast card. So after using a blast card, swipe up so you can perform a ki cancel, and then swipe to the side so you can perform a side step. And here you have two scenarios that might happen to give you an advantage. The first one is after you ki cancel and swipe to the side, you can vanish your opponent's attack, giving you a perfect vanish. Then you can start a combo. And the second scenario is after you swipe up and swipe to the side, you'll notice that your opponent is trying to perform a double vanish. And double vanish is basically after they use their first vanish when you use your blast card, he's going to switch out and get his vanish back. So he's going to swipe to the side again to try to perform a vanish. After you swipe up and swipe to the side and press a card, the timing is going to be perfect for you. If he does the double vanish thing, you're gonna get him in a priority 90% of the time. As you can see here on the screen, I'm going to be putting an example for you and showing you the practical example so you can understand it more. So after you learned how to do a quick side step, that's going to be a really helpful tip. So let's move to our number 4 tip. Our number 4 tip right here is going to be drop combos. Drop combos are basically a way to avoid getting cover changed by your opponent. as you can see here on the screen. And to perform a drop combo, remember how I told you to charge for 1 second for a charge step, and for side stepping you'd use a card immediately after you swipe to the side. For dropping combos, you'd want to delay the last actions that you do. So charge stepping, if you charge for an extra second or for an extra half a second so you can drop your combo. Or for side steps, you'd want to swipe to the side, wait a bit, and then use your next card for you to drop your combo. And that's how you avoid getting cover changed by most units in the game right now that have cover changes. So this is going to be a really helpful tip for you in any of the ranks, especially in top ranks, so you can trick your opponent. And it's all about prediction. If you predict your opponent is going to switch, you're gonna drop the combo to avoid getting cover changed. But if your opponent doesn't switch, you'll notice that he can vanish your attack. So it's all about prediction. You have to time it correctly and predict when your opponent is going to switch and try to cover change, so you can perform your drop combo and get him and not get cover changed, so you can continue your combo. So let's move to our next tip. Our next tip right here is kind of an advanced one. Even intermediate players can use it, but it's really hard to master. And this tip is drifting. Drifting is a way to trick your opponent so they can basically think you're sidestepping, but you're not. The way to do it, you can see on the screen right here, is instead of sidestepping by swiping to the side, you're just going to hold the screen and swipe to the side. When you hold the screen and swipe to the side, you're not going to perform a sidestep. You're just going to be floating. This is very useful and mostly used on close range. So let's say you use the blast card, you key canceled, and instead of performing a quick sidestep, you perform a drift. You can see it on the screen right here. I did it in this play that you see on the screen. I went for a blast, I key cancelled, and then instead of performing a quick sidestep, I waited for my opponent to initiate an attack by drifting. So I just held the screen, pretended that I'm going to sidestep, but I didn't. Waited for a bit. So waiting for that extra second is gonna make your opponent more confused and make your opponent think that you're sidestepped, but you didn't. So after waiting for that bit, I sidestepped straight away, and that resulted in me getting a perfect vanish and getting priority as well. So this is a really good tip if you master. It's gonna give you the upper hand in a lot of games, and it's going to be very useful to start constant combos on your opponents. So let's move to our last tip, and in my opinion the most important tip of all. And the last tip right here that we have is adapting. Adapting is a really important thing to do, especially in top ranks. Adapting is basically studying the opponent, knowing how he plays based on the first couple of plays that he does. So let's say you went for a blast, you key cancelled, and then you went for a quick sidestep, but you noticed that your opponent doesn't go for a double vanish. He just waits for you to perform a sidestep and then attacks you, so you lost priority. So on the next play, you're gonna adapt, and instead of performing a quick sidestep after a key cancel of the blast, you're gonna attack straight away. So you know your opponent is going to wait for you to do a sidestep, but then you surprise them by going straight away. And most people are not going to be changing the way that they play, especially if it works for them. So I think this is a really important way to do. You're gonna need to study your opponent, what he does. Is he playing aggressively? Is he playing passively? Is he trying to make perfect vanishes? Is he going for mid-range strikes? What is he doing? Strike cancels? Is he going for constant risky plays, full screen strikes? So this is the thing that you need to study about your opponents, and this is going to change your PvP experience a lot, especially if you're trying to hit top ranks. Adapting is the most important thing in my opinion, so try to study your opponents and adapt into their plays. So yeah, after you saw all those tips that I gave to you and the examples that I showed you on screen, go and try to apply them in PvP. You have to practice them and apply them. You're not going to master anything in the first try. You need to constantly try to practice those things so you can get better in PvP. It took me a solid 6 months or a whole year for me to become good at PvP, and I play the game quite a lot. So you have to stay patient and try to practice a lot so you can get better at PvP. So hop into PvP, try to apply those plays. Even if they don't work, try them again and again, because top rankers mostly use those plays to grind to top ranks. So I'd recommend trying them over and over again, because you're not going to master them from the first try. And if you do, congrats, it's just an easy way to go. But for the people struggling on how to master those tips, You have to keep practicing and keep applying them even if they don't work, especially in low ranks, they're not going to work. But in top ranks, you're gonna see how well those plays are going to turn out for you. So yeah, after you learned all of those and you've been decent on them, I promise your PvP experience is going to be really different, and you're gonna see that you start to win a lot of games and you start grinding to top ranks easily. So go crush everyone in PvP. So thank you guys for watching the video. Make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you want more tips and more guides on Dragon Ball Legends in general. And let me know in the comment section below if you want another part of more advanced tips for really top 1k PvP and top 3k PvP. So let me know all of that if you want that in the comment section below. So thank you guys for watching the video. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.